Hey everybody, what's up? It is about 7:46 on this Wednesday evening. That's right, it's Wednesday evening. Usually I wouldn't be doing these in the evening except for the fact that my other family member that I live with is currently at school right now. And at least gives me a bit of a breather after having my 8-year-old nephew over, for a few hours. But anyway, as you can see here, these are my WrestleMania 28 preview and predictions. Now, in case some of you don't know what that means, basically it means how prediction-wise as a fan I would like to see things go. And booking-wise how things should be booked. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay, sorry, my cat was kind of letting me know she wanted out, but the dog was right there in front of her, so she can't come out. The dog's right there. But anyway, if I could find it here, I'll talk about the lineup currently. If I have it, here we go. Now, we all know that since last year, WrestleMania 28, one of the main events, if not the main event of the night, in other words, the match that will close out the show, has been Rock and Cena. We have known that. Now, according to many people, the Ropes Show, the people at Fight Network, the British Fist, you name it, they have all indicated that we've had hints, even on that same night, that Triple H and Taker were going to go at it one more time. Well, now we know that. We know that's what's going to happen, and we know that the added stipulation is Hell in a Cell. Sorry about that. But again, like I said, we know the added stipulation is Hell in a Cell. And we also knew, back in December and even before that, hints that Chris Jericho was going to come back. And the rumor, if not the confirmation, that coming back, his first major feud, and the feud that probably, according to some sources, might be his only feud for being back, would be CM Punk. Now, here's the thing. The way I do this, like I said, I predict as a fan what I'd like to see, but I also look at it from a booker's standpoint. Like, in other words, who I would book story-wise, how I feel would work storyline-wise to book it. Sorry about that. My cat keeps wanting out, but she can't come out because of the dog. But anyway, like I said, this is how I would book it, storyline. As a booker, I look at it how it should be booked to coincide storyline-wise. Now, let's start out with what I feel will be the opening match. And I think a lot of people have agreed on this. Unfortunately, one of these two matches is going to open up the show. And right now, since it's got the less build behind it, we got to go for a second year in a row with the World Heavyweight Championship opening up the show. Now, the World Heavyweight Championship is Daniel Bryan and Sheamus. Now, last year, WWE did this with Edge and Del Rio. Now, Edge ended up winning it, thus setting a positive mood for the rest of the night. In other words, letting them know that, hey, we're giving you sort of a positive mood. We're letting the fan favorite, the babyface, go over. Now, I know a lot of people argue the fact that if they'd known Edge was going to be in his last match at Mania, they would have had Del Rio go over, but that wasn't the case. Sorry about that, folks. I had to finally let my cat out. Dog chased her into the room. But anyway, as I was saying, last year Del Rio and Edge opened up the show for the world title, and Edge did go over. Now, had people known, now some people would say, well, they did that because that was going to be Edge's last match. Here's the thing, nobody knew that was going to be Edge's last match. Nobody, that's the honest truth. But he still went over. So if WWE wants to continue that trend and let's say open this year with the World Heavyweight Championship, and they want to, set the vibe with a good feeling and kind of give a positive feeling to start the show off, then there's no doubt that prediction-wise, as a fan, you got to have Sheamus go over. Prediction-wise, as a fan, they want to see Sheamus go over because they can't. Nobody's taking Daniel Bryan seriously as a world champion. They need somebody to go in there and win the world title. And you know what? And from a booking standpoint, this also is the right decision because booking-wise, you have Sheamus win the World Heavyweight Championship, and he's got a ton of challengers ahead of him, a ton of heelish challengers ahead of him, and I'll get into that reasoning in a little bit, but he's got a ton of heel challengers that want to have a crack at him. And again, if you're going to push him to the moon, you need to give him the World Heavyweight title. It's like Schleg Daddy said when they previewed this match. When they talked about this match, you cannot have your Royal Rumble winner win the Rumble and then lose for a fifth year in a row. It devalues the prestige of being the Royal Rumble winner and going to Mania. So booking and prediction-wise, you've got to go with Sheamus. You got to go with the guy. And again, it's because he's going to have a whole list of challengers besides Daniel Bryan. You got to go with him. You've got to complete the cycle. You got to complete the cycle. You had to get. I mean, you made him as a heel. You made him a two-time WWE champion. So complete the cycle, complete the full circle, let him become a world champion as a babyface, and then if he loses it and regains it, let him become a multiple-time world champion as a babyface. So that at least you could look back in the record books and say, okay, he was a two-time WWE champion, but he was a heel. He was a something like that, let's say two-time world champion in the near future as a babyface. At least they know he had a run with both championships, but on both sides of the track. You know what I'm saying? And again, you got a whole fresh load of challengers that can come at him. That, basically, prediction and booking-wise, those are how I would go with it. Fan-wise, as a prediction, yeah, let Sheamus win. I want to see Sheamus win as a fan. But booking-wise, same decision. You got to have him win because you have a whole shitload of heelish challengers coming at him. And heck, you could have Sheamus and Randy Orton face versus face for the world title down the line, and people would buy into that. Because basically a storyline would be like, who is the toughest? Who is the most merciless? Who is the most relentless? There you go. Then we get into what I feel will be the second match of the night, which will be the IC title match. Now, from a prediction standpoint and a booking standpoint, prediction-wise as a fan, you want to see Big Show shut Cody Rhodes the hell up and give Cody Rhodes a taste of his own medicine. Prediction-wise, you also want Big Show to win. Because booking-wise, the story, even though it might continue after WrestleMania, prediction-wise, booking-wise I should say, booking-wise, the storyline would grow from it. I mean, this doesn't have to be the climax. This could be more like this could be like the final chapter in this feud. Because think about it this way, booking-wise, Cody Rhodes could go in the ring, act all cocky like he's going to beat Big Show, bell rings, boom, knockout punch, Cody Rhodes loses, gets a taste of his own medicine. And then you can have Cody Rhodes come out and say, that wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to lose on Raw and on SmackDown and say, that wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to lose. And you can have Big Show say, oh, by the way, I want to show you something. Oh, this is Cody Rhodes' embarrassing moment at WrestleMania. And he can give a storyline lines, he can give Cody a taste of his own medicine. And then that could lead into one last match at Extreme Rules, where maybe that time you let Cody Rhodes go over, regain the Intercontinental Championship, and at least this way, from a character standpoint as well, it allows Cody to realize, you know what? I can't take this guy lightly anymore. I can't make fun of him anymore. I gotta take him serious. I've gotta beat the hell out of him at Extreme Rules. And you know what? Booking wise, let him do that. Let him get a rematch at Extreme Rules, get the belt back, and then say, okay, and then come out and say, look, I've regained my title and I've learned my lesson, never anger a giant. Or something like that, and say, from now on, I'm not going to anger no giants, I'm going to take all my opponents seriously. Or something like that down the road. But booking and prediction-wise, you go with the Big Show, because booking-wise, storyline, in a story perspective and character perspective, it gives Cody a taste of his own medicine and makes him realize he can't joke anymore. Or basically gives him a taste of karma, if you will. Then, we get into what I feel will be the third match of the night, Randy Orton and Kane. Now, a lot of people might be invested in this match, but a lot of people have said that this match has a weak background, a weak backstory. I mean, it all stems from Kane offering a handshake to Randy Orton after Randy beat him last year on a SmackDown. I mean, if that would have been like, oh, I don't know, similar to the CM Punk Orton deal last year, yeah, I can imagine, maybe 2 years, you had to, give Kane 2-3 years to think about it and say, you know what? All because I did that, people haven't been taking me seriously. Well, now is the opportunity, right? Okay. So where do you go from here? Well, from a fan perspective, you want Randy Orton to win because Randy Orton's very over. He's one of the faces of your company. But then you want to try to continue this momentum, this resurrection deal with Kane. So you want Kane. So if you want to keep that going, you want to put Kane over. So it's kind of back and forth. So prediction-wise, you want Randy to go over, but booking-wise, you want to kind of surprise fans and give Kane that opportunity to say, look, I beat one of your so-called franchise players at Mania. I beat him. Now I should be in the world title picture, or I should be in the WWE title picture. It would give him more legitimacy. But we don't know. So prediction-wise, yeah, as a fan, you want Randy Orton to win. Booking-wise, story-wise, character-wise, you want Kane to go over because it builds more momentum for his resurrection. It completes his resurrection deal so that they can have a blow-off at Extreme Rules. And that blow-off can be as physical as you want it to be. Let me check my time here. And I'll be back with the second part on this.